Hello, everyone. My name is Christine, and I'd like to welcome you to today's session from Possibility to Practice, AI in Packaging Research. A couple of points before we begin. The webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be made available to you after the webinar. You can ask questions during and at the end of the session by sending them through the Q&A widget. Our webinar platform has a few functions, which I will quickly walk you through. The slide shows you where you can send your questions, where you can see the slides, and there are also a group of widgets. These widgets offer you the chance to interact with fellow webinar attendees through the group chat or to interact with the platform and with the content. The platform is designed for you to get everything you can out of our time together. So experiment and have fun. Now, without further ado, let me introduce you to our speakers today, Alex and Milica. Alex has more than 11 years of experience shaping consumer, shopper, and market understanding for global FMCG brands. Expert in mixed methods research, data synthesis, and strategic storytelling that influences senior stakeholders and drives commercial, marketing, and innovation decisions. Milica is Director of Global Business Development at EyeSee, where she works closely with leading global brands to advance data-driven decision-making in consumer research. Now, don't forget, you can drop your questions anytime at the Q&A widget. Without further ado, let's welcome our speakers.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. First of all, thank you to Esomar for hosting this session and to our partners from PepsiCo for the collaboration on this project. My name is Milica. I work as a Director of Global Client Services at EyeSee, helping global brands with integrating behavioral research and AI-driven methodologies into their business workflows. I'm joined today by Alex Foch, who leads Shopper Insights at PepsiCo. Alex, thank you so much for joining and for being open to sharing this experience so transparently with us.
Thank you for the opportunity, Milica. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Me too. Our today's session is called From Possibility to Practice, and it deals with AI in packaging research. And this title reflects something important to us. There is a lot of discussion in our industry about what AI could do in theory. You've heard it, things like faster insights, predictive models, automation. But inside organizations, the real question is much more grounded. It's more about where does AI genuinely create value for real business decisions? Where does it reduce uncertainty? Where does it accelerate learning but without compromising rigor? This project was a good example of that transition. While we were running a POSM test with PepsiCo team, each of their POSM executions featured a different SKU selection. And the idea behind it was quite deliberate. Depending on whether the leading SKU was positioned as better for you, or indulgence first, or premium, PepsiCo team assumed the POSM would trigger a different type of shopper motivation. So we were effectively testing which motivation works best in a specific store location at the checkout, and which framing resonates most strongly within that context. At some point in our discussion, the team started questioning the choice of the leading SKU itself. We started wondering, are we absolutely sure that the empty product intended to trigger a better for me choice actually does that? Does it genuinely communicate that motivation? Or are we projecting that onto it? That's when we saw an opportunity to build on the POSM test findings. We decided to run a quick AI-based pack test to sense check whether the selected leading packs were truly signaling the motivations we intended them to trigger. Our idea was not to replace traditional research. It was to add an additional layer of clarity and speed, something structured, something predictive that could help guide discussion. And today we will walk you through what we tested, what we learned, what worked well, and how the platform is evolving based on this pilot experience. Alex, maybe you can take us back to the beginning.
Thank you, Milica. As Milica mentioned, we were in the middle of a secondary location test project focused on the checkout. Everything was progressing well operationally, But at some point, we started asking ourselves a strategic question. Are we fully confident that the packs themselves are performing exactly as intended? For example, we are developing a new Better For You crisps range, which was included as part of this project. The strategy was clear. We wanted to communicate health credentials, nutritional benefits, and a sense of responsible indulgence. At the same time, this is obviously a snack category. Taste will always be the number one driver. If consumers do not perceive a product as tasty, the Better For You positioning alone will not drive purchase. This tension was clear. How do we balance health and taste cues visually? And are we currently striking this right balance? At that moment, we did not have the time to run a full traditional pack test. What we needed was directional clarity in an agile way, an approach that was structured, data-driven, and robust enough to support internal decision-making. What made AI-powered screening attractive was the ability to look at perceptions across multiple dimensions at once. So this includes health, taste, premium, trust, engagement, clarity, and credibility. And importantly, to visually understand trade-offs, as well as the dynamics between communicating these benefits, and not just the overall scores.
In total, we tested 6 packs as part of the broader project. Today, for the sake of time and confidentiality, we will focus on 3 that best illustrate our learning journey. The first one is Lay's Oven Baked, an established product with over 20 years in the market. So this is a perfect example on which we can walk you through the platform and get you familiar with PackSee.AI. The other 2 are versions of a new Better For You MPD pack that has not yet gone to market, where we'll show you how they compared a bit more in depth. Let's begin with the Lay's Oven Baked. Before we dive into the results, let me quickly explain how PackSee.AI works. We organize outputs around the natural role of packaging in the shopping journey. First, it needs to be seen. Then it needs to be liked. And finally, it needs to convince. And that is what we call attract, engage, and inform. The first pillar, attract, indicates how effectively the design highlights the right elements first. It is measured by predictive visibility and attention, including heat maps and scan pads as visual output. These predictions are powered by our proprietary predictive eye tracking model, trained on millions of real human gaze data points, not just external saliency data. We can see that on attract, Lay's Oven Baked performed very strongly. The pack achieved a high predicted visual impact score of 93%, indicating that key elements are likely to be noticed quickly and consistently. Claims and the product imagery demonstrated strong predicted visibility, with certain zones exceeding expected benchmarks. The heat map analysis showed that attention is well distributed across the main communication areas. At zone level, product imagery and claims perform very well, while the brand logo area attracts slightly less attention relative to other elements. This does not signal a weakness, but rather highlights a potential micro-optimization opportunity within an otherwise well-performing design. Engage looks beyond visibility and asks whether the design sparks positive reaction. It combines predicted likes on specific areas of interest with predicted overall liking of the design. This pillar answers the question, once consumers see the packaging, do they feel drawn to it? Does it resonate? Does it feel right for them? This engage metric connects design to motivation and emotional fit. On engage, Lay's Oven Baked design generated strong positive signals across the board. The image area delivered the highest predicted consumer preference at 52%, indicating that the core visual resonates well with shoppers. Clarity and credibility scores were both aligned with category benchmarks, reinforcing that consumers are not only drawn to the pack, but also understand it and feel confident about it. This balanced engagement profile suggests that the design does more than capture attention. It creates a positive impression that supports the established equity of the Lay's brand. Inform evaluates how effectively the pack communicates its intended attributes and benefits. It measures predicted efficiency in communicating relevant claims across defined attribute clusters. These clusters are built using semantic analysis and benchmarking across categories. Importantly, a unique feature of this Inform pillar and PackSee.AI is its ability to read the text, as well as other visual cues such as product material, different textures, icons, and similar. It can then notice inconsistencies in these communication tools and highlight potential areas for design's optimization. And as we can see here on Inform, Lay's Oven Bake demonstrated strong communication efficiency, particularly around trust and health positioning. Health-related cues were clearly communicated, reinforcing the product's positioning in the category. At the same time, attributes such as unique and distinctive scored lower, which is expected after 20 years in the market, and suggesting to PepsiCo to think about new opportunities in this healthy snack space.
So, for me personally, I love the platform's consistency. There's no recency bias. It produces structured, nuanced outputs for both new and mature designs that explain in a visual way how different aspects of the packaging are interpreted. The outputs increased our confidence that the results were meaningful and not influenced by visual noise. They also help us to accurately align our packaging with the strategic direction of a sub-brand to drive clear differentiation. This is so important in a climate where brands have to clearly justify a reason for purchase for increasingly demanding shoppers.
Speaking of justification of a reason to believe, let's move on to our next use case, the two design versions of the new crisp product. This product was designed within a better-for-you positioning. However, the design executions differed in subtle but important ways. First version had certain health signals but introduced stronger sensory elements, richer imagery, more dynamic design elements, and cues that emphasized flavor and enjoyment. The second version leaned more heavily into more explicit health claims. It emphasized wholesomeness, nutritional information, and a more restrained aesthetic. It avoided certain sensory cues that could suggest indulgence. And looking at the results, we see a very clear divergence. The first version performed more strongly on attributes linked to taste, enjoyment, and indulgence. It felt more flavorful and expressive. However, some of the health cues perceptions fell short. While whole grain ingredients were mentioned indeed, the red color scheme, indulgent photography, and sweet chili flavor positioned this more as a tasty snack than healthy food. The second version was more strongly associated with attributes such as healthy, better for you, and informative. It also performed better on clarity and credibility. The transparent ingredient listing, official Nutri-Score labeling, clear nutritional claims, and straightforward product photography gave us higher scores within the Inform pillar. It's also worth noting that the overall pack scores were very similar. Both designs performed at about the same level, which makes sense since they were quite alike, and this is screening. The real value of the PackSee.AI analysis shows at the attribute level, revealing which design better supports the intended positioning.
And that has been extremely valuable for us. Internally, decisions often become binary. Which pack wins, which score is higher, but that was not the right framing here. We needed to understand the strategic implication. If we push stronger health cues, do we risk losing perceived taste? If we amplify sensory signals, does the better for you positioning become lost in communication? The platform made that trade-off visible. For example, in the cleaner design, health-related attributes were clearly stronger. In the more sensory-driven version, taste and indulgence attributes were more pronounced. Seeing that split helped us anchor our discussions in evidence rather than intuition. It also allowed us to ask more precise questions. Are we comfortable with that trade-off? Does it align with our long-term positioning? Do we need to adjust certain claims or visuals to rebalance perception? Having a clear, objective source of truth enables agile, shopper-centric decision-making that is backed by data.
Alex, you have already touched on the strategic value. Maybe you can share more about the experience of using the platform itself.
Of course, happy to. Overall, the experience was very positive, especially considering that this was one of the pilot projects. The interactivity is a major strength. We were not receiving a static PDF. We could compare packs at a high level, then move into deeper analysis. We could filter attributes, look at specific claims, and examine zone-level visibility. This made the insights both tangible and actionable. For example, when looking at claims, we could filter right at the start which ones we wanted to include, So when the results came in, we could focus on those most relevant for our category and our strategy. That allowed us to interpret results with context rather than treating all attributes as equally important. Another important benefit has been accessibility. Different stakeholders could log in and explore the results directly, so it wasn't just on one person to interpret and draw conclusions. Getting the buy-in from the team and having everyone on the same page is a massive bonus, and this reduces bottlenecks and increases transparency. As with any pilot, there were areas where we saw opportunities for refinement, but I love the openness and proactivity of the team. One area was summary views. While the platform allows you to see which pack performs better on which dimension, having a more consolidated overview of trade-offs would make it even faster to communicate key conclusions. That feedback is already being incorporated into ongoing development, as far as I'm aware. Importantly, these points are about enhancement, not correction. The foundation is strong. The collaboration during this pilot phase allowed us to shape improvements that will benefit future users.
And that is exactly how we approach development. Transparent feedback, refinement over iterations, and constant evolution based on real-world use.
One final reflection from my side. As a business, we are committed to being human-centric. AI should not replace judgment. It should be used to enable better judgment. That said, we operate in an environment that requires agility. Markets move quickly, launch windows are tight, and retailers impatient. Agile, human-centric judgment is increasingly necessary. What surprised us positively is that this type of screening is not only relevant at early concept stage, it can also support post-launch monitoring and course correction. If performance signals shift or if competitive dynamics change, having a rapid way to sense-check packaging perception is invaluable. For us, the real benefit is not automation. It is the acceleration of learning and adaptation to put our consumers and our shoppers first.
I feel that there is nothing more to add to this, so I'd just like to thank you again, Alex, and we're really looking forward to implementing some of the points that you highlighted. Huge thanks to Esomar and to PepsiCo for the partnership, and thank you all for your attention. We would be happy to take your questions now. Take care!
Thank you so much, Alex and Melita, for the brilliant presentation. We will now open the floor for Q&A. Giovanna from EyeSee will be taking questions for us. We would like to ask our audience to drop your questions in the Q&A widget. For now, I have some questions in the Q&A box for you, Giovanna. Let's see. Talk about the brand fit. Can you tell us a bit more about the brand fit that is being developed?
No, you're talking about like providing like different criteria to grade against specific brands or something like that, you said? Yeah, yes. Yeah, that's the question. So that's actually, it's funny that we start like something which is in an upcoming iteration of our products, which is specifically designed brand fit scores that we are developing with our machine learning team, which are very advanced and really offering possibility to benchmark against specifically designed framework that is adjusted to the need of the specific product. So yes, that's something like testing 10 different products for against some specific area that you want to compare them as specifically like a brand or something that will be very detailed covered in our next iteration of the product.
I've also got a questions about the design iterations. Are they done by AI or by the design team?
Sorry, can you repeat that? Because I do not see questions on the screen, the one that you are saying.
From the attendee chat, are design iterations done by AI or by the design team?
By the design team at this point, but we also do have testing in some ideas too that AI offers different design iterations. But now the designs that are being tested are like created by the design team of the client or like a company, and we test them and provide analysis and the feedback and the areas of improvement and like stating a stronger or weak points of that one.
Perfect.
And it's exactly what the product can also be. It's a very good use of a product, like a screening of a different design solutions. So you can like learn how to optimize before you go to like a full validation. So it's like a primarily the goal of this product.
Perfect. What is PackSee.AI mainly used for?
Yeah, that's what I like mentioned now. So primarily it is used for screening phase. So like especially in that early stage when the team has many different pack design options, it provides objective input of pack adequacy and like helps you prioritize which concept should be moved forward. And because it is fast and very detailed and particularly strong in this, what we saw, engage and inform pillars, in the details in a deep dive on that, it can also replace or like significantly reduce the need of that early qualitative research phase. So it's like, besides other options to be used, as we even saw today in this subject, it's like the primarily usage is screening.
In the presentation, they mentioned about benchmarks. At which level are they available?
Yeah, like benchmarks are available at the category level. Currently, we cover more than 20 different categories, and most benchmarks are global at this point. And also, there are also some regional nuances available, but additional category, both category and regional benchmark also can be developed when needed, and we work on that.
What do you mean?
I saw one question here. Okay, so I see some questions now. So one is, are you able to assess ergonomy of a packaging as well? That is something that can be specifically recognized by the model in which we call inform pillar, because that part of the model is actually besides like reading textual claims on your pack, understanding visual cues and textures and everything, it also recognizes like the shape and what your specific pack is. So it's something, if ergonomically there is something specific to be noticed, that's where LLM model could tell you something useful. So that would be informed, but that's not something that we like explicitly ask within the model.
Perfect. What do you mean by saying that PackSee.AI can read text on the pack designs?
Yeah, that's what I mentioned in this like a previous question, but that is what we learn and know. It's very like one very unique capability compared to many other solutions in the space. Our proprietary algorithm analyzes both visual cues and written text on the package and compare that to the category norms and expectations. So that's everything that you get in that inform pillar. For example, I will just try to be more precise here. For example, if your pack carries eco-friendly claim, that's something that you want to communicate and it's important. But packaging is made, let's say, from some plastic material, or as you said, it doesn't look like something which follows that rule. The model will flag that as a potentially consistency between, and it understands that the claim is telling something, but it doesn't, the design of the pack or the material doesn't imply sustainability. So those are the things that you can expect the model to like flag to you. So your design is not living up to that what you're claiming. What can we say that?
Can we use PackSee.AI as a DIY platform?
In the future, yes, that is something that we are working on, but currently PepsiCo comes with an expert support from our team and category specialists. So clients receive consultation and the full results, which are on the platform within 48 hours. But that also like includes support from the experts and onboarding to the platform. So this ensures that the insights are properly put in the context and also removes any concern around AI misinterpretation. So at this phase, that is what we offer in our product. But DIY, yes, in the, let's say, relatively close future.
How many attributes can be tested?
I suppose that refers to the inform pillar, and I will need to tell more how that inform pillar works. So part of our expertise in that specific model is how that we did a semantic analysis of all different claims, attributes, and questions that are being asked in the pack designs throughout the history of our research. And there we identified 18 different semantic cluster, which can say 18 different attributes, which are attributes that represent one semantic cluster of things to be claimed. That's, just to be more clear here, that's like something like high quality, natural, appealing design, or something regarding, let's say, pain relief, if you are talking about OTC, etc. And out of the total of 18 attributes, the model actually recognizes which of them are relevant for your category and your products, and give you scores on that specific attributes. And then that's how the informed pillar score is actually at the end created. And also for each score that you get on a specific attributes, model also offers very detailed elaboration why and how you could do that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Giovanna. We will address any outstanding questions in the follow-up.
Thank you.
We want to thank EyeSee and PepsiCo for joining us, and of course, all of you for participating in this webinar today. We hope you have enjoyed your time with us, and we look forward to seeing you again on any of the Esomar platforms soon. Thank you so much.